And hello. Welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. Zack and Alex are back with you. Talk about another weekend. No, not just another weekend. It's the start of the NASCAR playoffs. Big weekend of racing. So big deal. Everything's more important from now on, okay? So we gotta be, this is very serious stuff we're talking about today, Alex. Very serious.
Things getting real. We're gonna know who the NASCAR champion is here in just a few weeks. Pretty crazy.
Gonna be exciting, and it got kicked off at Atlanta. Bit of a controversial start, or it's a controversial track to start the playoffs on, but as we kind of saw, it was chill. It was chill compared to expectations. It was pretty chill, I'd say.
Yeah.
Definitely still one of my favorite tracks on the schedule. We'll talk all about that. Joey Logano got the win. Who saw that coming? I saw that coming.
We have been saying on here, it's an even year. Joey Logano is going to go far in this championship.
Yeah.
Other podcasts out there will tell you otherwise, but
I cannot believe someone right now could be having a microphone in front of their face and say that Joey Logano is not going to win the championship. That is ridiculous to say. As if it's like, yes, I get the playoffs are so weird and it's hard to predict them. I think people, they get way too into their own heads or something to where they forget how the playoffs actually work. Yeah. And as if they haven't watched the playoffs the last 2 years and we haven't seen Team Penske do these kinds of things where they just kind of come alive in these last 10 weeks. And Joey Logano winning a super speedway race. I mean, does that mean he's a championship favorite? No, but that's 5 more playoff points that he definitely needed. That's going to help him get there. So you got to watch the 22 team as we go through these playoffs, obviously. And, he just performs in these moments. Great performance yesterday. We got some other things to talk about. His Team Penske in general yesterday was great. We're going to talk about the huge, vicious crash that Kyle Larson had. That was crazy.
Yeah. Came out of nowhere.
Whatever the hell Denny Hamlin was doing this weekend.
There's a lot to digest there.
Well, there's a lot going on with him, I guess. Denny Hamlin's having a horrible, horrible month or so. He's having a horrible month just everywhere. And then we'll look at the playoff picture as we head into Watkins Glen. And then we got a lot of tea about, the NASCAR charter stuff.
The tea's kind of been lacking lately, but we got a full cup. Maybe 2 cups.
IndyCar CEO Mark Miles also opened his mouth again, so we have to talk about the ridiculous things he said. So, we got a packed episode today, so we might as well get started, Alex.
So take a seat, get some popcorn, get some tea, whatever you need, because we're going to be yapping to you for a little bit here.
Yeah.
And guys, Zach, we've been yapping on a podcast for 4 years now.
That's why we're so good at it.
Yeah.
We've had so much 4 years of practice. That's why we're so good at it.
Exactly. 4
years of the Gay Racing Podcast.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I was in college when we started this.
As of Saturday, September 7th, 4 years.
Yeah.
It's flown by.
It has.
It really has. I mean, I've had a lot of fun doing it. I know you have.
No, not really. I want to leave. Bye.
Bye. But yeah. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for listening. A lot of you listened all 4 years, so appreciate it. But with that, Zach, shall we talk about NASCAR at Atlanta? Because we mentioned Joey Logano wins another one, moves on for thinking he's going to make it to Champ 4. And for me, you guys, Joey Logano is our current day Jimmy Johnson in terms of the playoffs.
I love how you say that because I think a lot of people would disagree with you and call you Kyle Petty for saying something like that. But I really think you're right.
If you look at the past decade, right, there are only 2 drivers, because Jimmy Johnson's not active anymore, who have won multiple championships, and that's Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. Mm-hmm. And Joey Logano, even if he doesn't win the championship that year, is always strongest in the playoffs. I know last year he got out early. He missed the playoffs 1 year entirely.
But that happens, especially in this format. That just happens.
Exactly.
I mean, it happens to everybody.
He is a threat every single year. And every even year thus far, We are in an even year. He has made it to the championship 4, and that just shows how strong that team is. Has he made it more than any other team?
He's definitely up there, like to the 4. I think Denny might be up there. Man, I saw a graphic the other week.
I know.
But I mean, it's like him and Harvick made it a lot. Truex has made it a lot. I think maybe Truex and Harvick might have, and Kyle Busch, they might have made it more. But Logano's up there. That just proves how strong that 22 team is in the fall in the playoffs, and it's why, if again, as I said on the top of the show, if you are saying that the 22 team, because of their performance this year, is not going to make the playoffs, were we talking about Ryan Blaney or make the playoff, win the championship? We weren't talking about Ryan Blaney winning the championship last year at this point. I wasn't.
There were talks a year ago. Is Ryan Blaney the next Casey Kane? That's what happened a year ago, also from Kyle Petty, ironically enough. But at that point, Zach, you and I had talked about Ryan Blaney, the Casey Kane allegations last year.
Yes.
We were like, there's kind of an argument there. Like, we can see it. But then he went on. There was. And then he went on to win a championship.
Yes. And now it's like, is Joey Logano really Jimmy Johnson? I mean, if you win a third championship, especially in this format, yes. And again, I know people are
3-time.
I know people are going to be like, y'all are ridiculous. He just won a super speedway race. I don't know, man. Like, it takes skill to win at Atlanta. A lot of skill. We saw fast cars run up front all day. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say this makes him the championship favorite by any means. I would still say that's a Reddick.
Yeah, I mean,
even a Larson. I know he's in.
Who is the championship favorite? How can you even define that at this point? We got to remember what we're dealing with here.
We're in the very first round.
I think he's a threat to make the final 4. He's done this before.
All of Team Penske as a whole, like Joey Logano won the race. Blaney and Hendrick scored more stage points than anyone. Austin Hendrick is now in a really good points position going into these last 2 rounds. Many people had him out in this first round. He's now, I think, like plus 24 or something. We'll look at the full points later. But super impressive day from him. At one point, it looked like no one could get around him. I mean, and Ryan Blaney, this was one of his best races that I can remember from him. Mm-hmm. He led quite a lot. He won stage 1. And then he got in that incident with Truex and Chris Buescher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it pushed him back to the mid-20s. He came all the way back up to get second. I thought he was going to win this race. I thought this was going to be one of those crazy drives from the back of the pack to the win.
That 12 team just knows how to put themselves in position to win drafting races. And honestly really impressive. I think, Denny Hamlin used to kind of be that guy in the 11 team, but, through the kind of the next gen car and the change in the style, Blaney has still kept up that reputation of being someone that you got to race at the end of these races. Even more so sometimes than Joey Logano.
Yeah.
Who also used to have that reputation. Still does, obviously.
And Zach, we said this a lot last year when Blaney was going for that championship. We saw a new Ryan Blaney. And I'm going to say it again. A few years ago, Ryan Blaney would not have recovered after that incident. He would have probably had some sort of meltdown. He would have finished 20th. But he managed to come back. He stayed confident in his team, and they came back through with a torn-up race car. It's really impressive to see the evolution of Ryan Blaney these past few years, and that's why he won a championship last year, and he very well could do another.
I like how that 12 team looks. They just look strong. Yep. You know what I mean? They just look strong. They look after something like that. Obviously, there's luck. There's a little bit of luck involved that the car didn't get heavily damaged, but still, mentally, Blaney has never been better.
Yeah.
So I like what I see, and to be honest, I feel like the 12 team doesn't make mistakes as much as a Larson, as even sometimes. Well, Reddick's been really consistent, but Hamlin, especially, Hamlin's just been having some rough races lately. It's just in these playoffs, just knowing that you can click off these cleaner races, even when faced with adversity, is kind of what you need. And we'll definitely see how that kind of. Well, what's gonna matter for Blaney is the round of 8 and him once again kind of performing and possibly winning a race. Because he's going to be up against some competition, some really fast competition, but he showed that he can compete last year.
Yeah, for sure. And he got one of those playoff points as well. That's something he's huge. Always kind of lacked in years past, and he got another one. And he has those wins this year as well.
He came in with quite a because he had 2 wins, and I feel like he's had a decent amount of stage wins this year. I don't know.
And Zach, going into Atlanta, he went in plus 14. He's leaving plus 45.
Wow.
It's huge gain, and Team Penske all around, just brilliant performance. I would say Penske perfect. I mean, they swept the stages. All 3 of their drivers
3 in a
something.
row. We got to remember, they're going for 3 championships in a row. That no one's talking about that.
And they feel like underdogs.
No one is talking about that they're going for 3 championships in a row. No one has said that.
No one else has won a championship in this car.
What, like, wake up. Wake up.
Yeah.
And you probably already said it. Great day for Austin Hendrick. It's exactly what he needed. So.
Yeah, and go back to what I said. People had him as an early out. I think he's going to make it to the next round. He's good on road courses, and I think he's pretty decent at Bristol. So, I mean, I think he'll be okay if he stays out of trouble.
Should I pull up the playoff graphic now? I feel like it'd be appropriate.
Sure.
Let's pull it up a bit earlier since it is the playoffs now. So let me do that because I feel like it'd help the. It's nice to have that visual as we talk about the days they had and now the results of where they are. Because again, like Hendrick being plus 27, that is great. He's going into a road course now. He should hopefully execute, get points. He should be really good heading into Bristol.
And hopefully. Someone else I want to highlight here is Alex Bowman. He's another guy people had out in round 1, or a lot of people did. He's also plus 27. He had a fantastic race, in my opinion, at Atlanta. I think he was arguably as strong as Kyle Larson was at times early in the race, but then Bowman
Hendrick cars
stayed up there. Yep.
They did a really good job staying up front.
So since we have this graphic up, let's talk about Denny Hamlin, because what happened to Denny Hamlin this weekend? Because he qualified last.
It was some plug wire issue in qualifying that he was 2 seconds off the pace. So sure, whatever.
Which by the way, they need practice. Why is there not practice?
That's one of those things where it's like, if we had practice, just warm. I get that the teams probably aren't going to go out there and draft and learn, but still, they need a warm up or something. You can't. I don't know. These are race cars. They're very complicated machines. It's a little silly that I don't know.
So Denny Hamlin, of course, qualified last, and then he ran 30th all day to try and avoid a crash. But guys, if you are on video, you can see Hamlin is only +2 over the cut line. And he had that big penalty. He lost a whole bunch of his playoff points. He lost a bunch of regular season points. So he already came in at a disadvantage of what he was before that penalty. And then he's just kind of irrelevant at Atlanta. And you and I were discussing this throughout the race. It kind of felt like the story that Denny Hamlin, no stage points. And then at the end, he's waiting for a crash to happen. It doesn't happen. And he finishes 24th.
Yeah, I don't get that. I after sleeping on it, I kind of understand where the 11 team is. It's just, I feel like at some point, you have to just race. And the only kind of defense I have for what the 11 team did yesterday is the fact that Denny did not like his car. He didn't like his car. He thought it was really loose, so he didn't want to get up there in the pack and risk anything.
Yeah.
But let's make that car better then, right? Let's go with the attitude of I'm Denny Hamlin. I'm one of the best race car drivers in the field. I can win this race. This is a super speedway race. Yes, I haven't had the best success at them lately, but this one requires skill and a good race car. I'm with Joe Gibbs Racing. I have a good race. It's a mentality thing for me that I don't like. I don't like the fact that Denny Hamlin went in here and felt like he just had to ride around. That is not what Denny Hamlin needs. He needs to be fired up. Because he could say, oh, I'll just go in the Bristol. I'm really good at Bristol. I'll be fine at Bristol. This is the playoffs. There are no guarantees. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And he said it himself before on his podcast. He's not good at road courses. I just don't think sacrificing Atlanta on purpose, right? We have guys like Larson and Briscoe who lost out on points because of bad luck or they got in an accident, whatever. You're always taking that risk in racing. You have to attack. You're a race car driver. You're fighting for a championship. You have to attack. I don't get this strategy of just giving it up. Race one.
Right.
That's not how I think you should start your playoffs mentally either.
I agree. And the thing I don't understand is, like, if his car was so bad, why didn't they get into the draft? Like, even if you wanted to avoid an incident in stage 1, in stage 2, try and figure out the draft and
get up
try
there.
and make improvements on your car so you can push through in stage 3. But he still stayed in like 31st.
Like trailing. Like
stage.
He's not like bumper to bumper with anybody. He's trailing. Like
if you knew that your car was like a beast and you'd be able to fly through the pack like we saw Blaney do from like 25th up to P2, sure, I get it. But if you had a bad car, you didn't try to improve it.
Because what happens if...
I don't get it.
Yeah, go ahead. What happens if he has a mulligan, if something bad happens at Watkins Glen?
Well, then he has to win Bristol.
Exactly. Why would you put yourself in that situation on purpose when he could have been like Christopher Bell today? And by the way, I mean, Truex and Ty Gibbs, I guess their cars were handling better, but they started in the back because they changed something. They made unimproved adjustments, and then they came up through the pack, right? Like, I just think that this could really bite them in the ass. This could be really bad. Like,
Zach, would you agree that Denny Hamlin's flop of the week?
He might end up being flop of the year.
Wow.
Well, I mean, Thermal Club's kind of big, but like in terms of NASCAR, like this might be a throw because we know this 11 team is fast. And yes, they've had like a sluggish summer, but I know they can get back. I know they can.
Yeah.
They just got to start building up to it and going into Atlanta being like, my car is kind of loose. I'm just going to ride in the back. That's not what you need to do for yourself, Denny. But
yeah, I agree.
I don't know if the off-track drama with the charters and stuff with his team is affecting him at all as a driver.
True.
I don't know, but it's hard to ignore.
Yeah.
It's hard to go into the race weekend and everyone's asking you about that. And then you have to go get in your race car. So, I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the charter stuff later in the T. And I think we can move away from the playoff graphic. But if you did see there, Kyle Larson is plus 15.
Did we talk about Larson and Briscoe?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we did. Yeah. I guess there's not much to say. Well, that wreck was vicious. Can we just say, that was crazy.
I was just going to say we can get off from the playoff grid to talk about it. But with Kyle Larson, he did lose those 5 points from not winning regular season championships. If he is close, keep that in mind. He could be plus 20 instead of plus 15 right now.
Yeah, and I saw someone say that, like, this is stupid. He has one bad race. Like, no, this is great. He's still got a 15-point buffer after literally finishing last. This is great.
Yeah.
This is great.
The format's working. Like, he's still rewarded,
and
guys.
Larson's going to Watkins Glen where he's won, like, what, twice at least? I think he's won twice there.
I think, yeah.
And then
it's good at Bristol.
And then we're going to Bristol where he's really good. Like, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling fine with this. It's no issues at all.
Yep.
So, it's just, and it was just a freak thing. Like, I don't know if they figured out if a tire went down because it didn't look like a tire went down to me.
Now, Kyle didn't seem to have any idea what happened. He looked very puzzled. I do feel really bad. I do feel really bad for Chase Briscoe because he had nowhere to go. Larson's car was like middle of the track. I think Briscoe is going to start going low, and then he went up high.
You're right.
You could maybe say it was on the spotter, but from the replays I've seen, I don't think Briscoe had anywhere he could have gone. So that sucks after winning the Southern 500, making it in. He probably, I don't know if Briscoe has to win necessarily, but like I don't see him competing with a lot of others. So I think he might have to win again.
I think as well, that's like, again, and it's almost throwing it back to Denny Hamlin. I know Denny Hamlin was expecting a big one, but here at Atlanta, we don't really see big ones. Like, yes, we kind of saw one at the end, but that's people coming to the checkered flag. That's different, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The cars are noticeably a lot more spread out. They're not bumper to bumper because you have to worry about handling in the corners. So we don't see a lot of big wrecks, and that's kind of a good example because if that happens at Talladega, which, I mean, I guess it wouldn't because it's not like the 5 car is going to lose traction at Talladega, but still. That happened at Talladega. That's a huge wreck, in my opinion.
Yep.
So,
and
I'm glad Larson's all right, though. That was huge.
Yeah, me too. And you mentioned it, Atlanta, with how spaced out they can be there. It makes the racing so much better. Like, we've said this a couple times now. This is our favorite super speedway race
110%. Right, the Daytona 500 needs to look like what Atlanta looks like, in my opinion, for that race to get its prestige back.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, we saw, like, look at Eric Jones yesterday. It was so much fun seeing him just make these huge runs on the outside with very little help.
Yeah.
And just, he got all up to the top 5 at one point. It was it was an interesting side plot going on.
You can like island hop. Like, you can just make a move.
Yeah.
Just, like, one car at a time, pick them off if your car is handling good. And we saw, like, we didn't see, what's a good example? We didn't see Harrison Burton or Justin Haley running at the very front of the pack. They might have made their way up to top 15, but they weren't running at the very front of the pack. You saw the really good Penske cars, the really good Hendrick cars leading the pack all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just says something to me about, and that, again, that's what we want. And because you still get these kind of crazy super speedway moments. I mean, just look at February with, Daniel Suarez and the 3-wide finish. But it's just a lot more tame, but it's not any less exciting, I guess. And you can see the skill expression of the drivers. You can see an Eric Jones who's got his car handling great, and Eric has confidence and he's making moves on the high side. That's something that makes it so much more interesting to watch than just logging laps at Daytona, in my opinion. It always will.
I agree.
And I hope Daytona can get back to that one day. I don't think they will with the current package they run with all the downforce. There's just no way, which is kind of sad, but I do appreciate what Atlanta is and that we have it on the schedule.
Yeah. And we were super skeptical of it. I don't think I liked the first race or two there. So it was like, new and everything, but it's really grown on me. I'm glad they've done it. Honestly, I wish it was Texas instead still, but I do think this was I
appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
I think, I appreciate it so much. They did a really good job. What's weird, what's not so good from Atlanta, why is a sign falling onto the racetrack? How does that happen? This is a big, huge national sporting event. The start of the playoffs. And a loose Walmart sign's going to throw a caution out in the last 10 laps? Are you serious?
Zach, when the camera panned to a sign, I literally rolled my eyes. I sighed. I'm just like, seriously, a sign altered the playoffs.
Again.
Pretty much. Again. Not the first time at an SMI track.
If I'd have 2 nickels right now, like, which is, it's weird that it happened twice. Like, I think Jordan Bianchi said on the teardown that they sell zip ties at Walmart.
Yeah.
Like, because then it's funny because someone linked the Twitter video of when Atlanta was installing those things. And it's just they slide the sign into like this metal frame. And I'm like, that doesn't look very secure looking back on it. Especially if like you have to stand over race cars and the wind from that. That's just ridiculous.
Can the people at the track even see those? Like,
I think it's more of a TV thing.
I don't remember ever seeing them on TV either. Maybe
you weren't looking.
Just don't pay attention.
I saw them a lot because as you see the pack, it's literally Walmart Quaker State just right above the cars. I don't know how you didn't see that. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, I love you, but you need your glasses on apparently.
Well, they're right here. Let me
put them on, buddy. Quick. Oh my God! Look at Alex with glasses, video listeners. He's so cute. He's so cute.
Thank you. But
you look like Joey Logano.
A big win for the glasses community. What can I say?
I love how Joey Logano's our version of Clark Kent. In the race car, he's all business. He's got his glasses on. Well, I guess that's the opposite. Because when he's performing, he has his glasses on, but out of the car, he has his glasses. So it's like reverse Clark Kent.
So Zach, I gotta say, these glasses aren't helping me see why this Walmart signed caution took so long.
Well, because then
seeing it.
it's funny because then they thought the other signs were going to fall, so they removed the other signs, which I think is hilarious.
I did see that, yeah.
I think that's kind of hilarious that they're like, oh my God, we can't let this happen again. Okay, listen.
Imagine going to overtime again because of another sign fell out.
And I get throwing the caution for it because, like, we don't want that getting on someone's windshield or something. That would be really stupid. But don't secure it next time. Like, bolt it. Something. I don't know. I'm gay. Something. Zip ties probably will work. Jesus.
Yeah. Overall, though, good weekend in Atlanta, in my opinion. Great race.
Still one of my favorite tracks. I think we covered everything. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, off the track, I don't think it's necessarily good news because NASCAR is trying to get the charter agreement kind of wrapped up for 2025 and for the next 7 years. But 2 teams are yet to sign the latest charter agreement. That is 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. And you alluded to it earlier. Denny Hamlin is an owner of 2311. Could he be distracted?
Okay, but why is Bob Jenkins trying to act like a big dog here? Like, what? That's just so random to me. Whatever, it's fine.
There was I think it might have been either Bob or Jeff Gluck. They said that he's put in a lot of his own money into the company.
That's true.
He probably does want a larger investment while like Hendrick, Penske, they already have a bunch of money.
And that's why maybe you see all these big teams being like, whatever. Yeah. I find it interesting that 2311 is going to be stubborn about this. And we don't really know. Well, I guess we'll talk about the details before we talk about possible ramifications.
So 2 points here that stood out to me. Yes. This is from an article from The Athletic. There's a quote from a team owner anonymously that said, quote, "They put a gun to our head and we had to sign," end quote. So they were basically pressured, according to this team owner, to sign the charter agreement. And then NASCAR, according to The Athletic, gave teams a 105-page document to read on Friday evening and then sign it by the same night at midnight. So they had 6 hours or something?
To read all that, girl. If I was a NASCAR team owner, I'd be like, I'm not reading all this. Whatever. Get whatever. Just go. Thank God I don't own a race team. I'm not reading all that. What the hell?
Sorry that happened to you, or congratulations, NASCAR. I don't have time.
Whatever.
So that part is crazy to me. 105-page document, and they told them to sign it by midnight that night. Like, if that's fully accurate, that's insane.
That's a little weird.
So that to me says, Zach, that NASCAR's like, we want to get this done and over with. You will sign this. We're done at midnight.
But they've been, I don't know. It's hard to talk about this because we're not in the rooms, but also, we want the best for the teams, don't we? I think most everyone can agree that the teams probably deserve more. NASCAR is running a business at the end of the day. So I don't, oh my God, it's so complicated. I don't even know how to talk about this. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't put in, apparently a team owner compared NASCAR to being a communist regime, which I think is hilarious.
Well, I can figure out which one said that, and I'm sure it's the owner of the 3 and 8 car who said that. So I'd be shocked if it's not that one.
That's probably the best thing Richard Childress has done in a while. Not going to lie, saying that. That's probably...
He's just taken quotes from another person he loves. So anyway, let me just say this. I'm Kyle Petty now. Let me say this.
Let me say this.
I bet you a lot of...
title of the episode.
I bet you a lot of team owners are rooting for 2311 in Front Row here. Because they don't want to be the brunt, the PR blunt that NASCAR's going to be giving them, right?
Which is probably weird to me.
Yeah, let them do it. But also, does NASCAR really want to go to court against Michael Jordan? Do they want news articles to come out that says Michael Jordan's NASCAR team is suing NASCAR, or NASCAR confiscates Michael Jordan's charters? Like, that The national press would get a hold of that. No one outside of NASCAR circles knows what's going on right now. If
But
this
they
goes
will.
much bigger,
Yes.
Michael Jordan can take this to a national level.
And I think that is why 2311 is being very, very stubborn about this. And it's why maybe Hendrick and Penske and Gibbs, they're like, whatever, because they're not going to be able to do something like that.
Yep.
They don't have they just don't have that kind of national appeal because they don't have Michael Jordan behind their team.
If this was like 2005 when NASCAR was at the top of its game, maybe.
Maybe.
Michael Jordan has national name recognition, and that should scare NASCAR. I really do think that is what's going on here. They're just like, no, you're going to give us a better deal.
But that's
or
also
we'll take it nationally. Yeah.
But that's also the only thing that I see that can work out for 2311 because, I mean, it's like 13 other teams said, yep, we're fine with this. But also, you know, the fact that they were forced to do it or not is kind of irrelevant. They signed it. Okay. Yep. That happens a lot in negotiating. They got buff. There was a bluff and they just signed it, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't like where it's going because I don't think it's good for the sport. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad for the teams because I feel like they aren't getting enough. It sounds like, I mean, they're putting on this show. Denny said it multiple times. They're putting on this show. They deserve compensation. I don't know. It's kind of sad. And for this to be happening during the playoffs, yikes.
Because that was the big reporting that NASCAR wanted this done before the playoffs started. So that's why they said midnight on Friday.
It might work out for NASCAR, though, because like they're kind of with the playoff, they're going to be able to kind of distract from it, hopefully. For them. Not hopefully for me. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
I don't really care. That's a problem. It's hard for me to care. These are just rich people arguing with each other. Wait, why do I care? These are rich people arguing with each other.
So I do think it's very important for the fan base at large because without the teams, there is no NASCAR, obviously.
All right, glasses.
I took the glasses off a while ago.
I know you need to put them back on. You need to put them back on, apparently. The teams are very important to the sport.
Anyway.
Not Front Row. Bye, Front Row Motorsports. Bye.
Well, the thing is, too, Front Row and 2311, they both want to expand. Front Row has already announced they're going to. 2311 wants to.
Yeah.
So I think that also impacts this. But
I wonder what's going to happen.
Very
What's the worst case scenario for them? Like, they just lose charters? Like, that's crazy.
Would they just run open cars next year?
Where do those charters go?
Well, there's been reporting that NASCAR wants to have some for the France family, which I think is a little weird, but
that's
because in the France family, yeah. And I've seen some people compare it to Penske owning IndyCar, but I think that's a bit different because that was already existing and Penske didn't own it originally. But I get the comparison, but I think it's different.
Yeah.
Because Team Penske and Penske Entertainment are two different entities. This would be the France family who directly owns NASCAR having a charter in NASCAR. So I think it's a bit worse than that.
Yeah.
But
true. All right. I like this next news. I'm very plugged in for this.
Yes. You're plugged in? You're ready to...
I'm plugged up. I'm ready.
So Martin Truex Jr. said at Media Day for Playoff Media Day that he will reunite with Cole Pearn. You're very plugged in for that part. Yes.
I'm very plugged in for that.
They will return together at the 2025 Daytona 500. And Martin said in either the 56 car or the 78 car.
I like how he actually mentioned the car numbers. Like that's yeah. I like that as a race car designer person. That makes me happy. Yeah, because both of them would fit with 2311. I feel like because they're the first digits one less than the second digit, so that's cool. I don't know which one I want more though. I mean, he won the championship in the 78 car, and
Martin said that 56 was like his childhood number, and then he ran it at Michael Waltrip Racing.
I feel like it should be 56 because it fits more with 2311, I think, and it's just I don't know. It's more personal to him, but he did win a championship in 78. But it's not going to look good unless it's the front row font. The 56 would actually really look good in 2311 font. So I'm rooting for the 56, I think.
Yeah, I feel like if it's 78 and it's in Cole Pearns there, I feel like they gotta use
Wait
the
a
old
minute,
font,
though.
right?
That
cool.
actually, now that you say that, that would actually be kind of. Well, do we know is Bass Pro going to sponsor? I bet Bass Pro is probably just going to sponsor.
I bet.
I mean, Johnny Morse and Martin are like this, so yeah.
Yeah,
That's probably
Imagine if Furniture Row was like, you know what, we'll sponsor one race. That'd be cool. I highly doubt it, though.
Barney Visser. What's Barney Visser up to? Get him back. That would be cool, actually.
It would.
At least get the logo on the car somewhere. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, even if it's like a little associate sponsor, it'd be cute.
That just makes me happy that Martin, and we didn't really talk about him and his, him getting in that wreck and starting the playoffs awfully. But like, that just makes me happy that Martin doesn't want to just go on a boat forever and leave NASCAR. Like, he still cares about the sport and he wants to be involved in the sport. I just think he's ready to move on from the sport full time, kind of similar to Jimmy Johnson. Like, Jimmy Johnson was ready to stop driving full time. Like,
Martin wants to be able to go on a boat like 25 weekends of the year. Yeah. Like, I understand him.
But he's never won the Daytona 500. He's gotten close. That's something he still wants to try to do. Kind of like what we see drivers do in Indianapolis for the 500. Like, Elio still does the 500. And hey, and that's what I'm waiting for to happen in NASCAR. An Elio Castroneves type deal where it's a part-time driver that's, a veteran of the sport, has won either championships or the big races, but they come back for this one race a year and they win it. I'm ready. I'm waiting for that to happen. Whether it's Jimmy, whether it's Martin, whether it's...
I feel like the most recent examples, they haven't won it, but it would be Jimmy Johnson. Michael Waltrip did it for a long time.
Michael Waltrip doing it every year was really cool, I thought it was, because it makes it feel like a big deal. Like, these guys are coming out of retirement to run this race. Like, this is the Daytona 500. It's such a cool deal to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, though. I wish we had more of that. It's cool that Jimmy's been doing it.
And I appreciate Martin in 2311, just everyone involved. That's going to happen. That's going to be really fun to see.
Yeah. And I do wonder, because it sounds like Martin's like, well, it's going to happen. It hasn't been officially announced yet. I wonder if it's because of the charter situation with 2311. I assume it's with 2311. I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Imagine if he has to race his way in. That would actually kind of be tight.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, I think Dale Jr. said, this is kind of related. Dale Jr. said, I think his last Xfinity race is this year at Bristol, I believe.
He did say that. Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
I know.
I mean, I'm kind of over it, though.
You're over it?
I'm kind of over it. He needs to just actually retire. Like, stop doing these little Xfinity races. I mean, it'd be nice if he wins Bristol, though. That would be really nice. But the fact that he said that it's his final one, though, he's not going to win it. As soon as it's the same reason why Martin's never going to win again, because he already announced his retirement. So, yep. Anyways.
Well, next up, you're going to like this news, Zach. Hendrick Motorsports and McLaren have announced they're going to hold a press conference tomorrow as of recording, so Tuesday, September 10th in Charlotte. What could this be about? Any ideas?
Maybe Kyle Larson's going to run Thermal Club next year.
Oh my! Could you imagine? Oh, everyone will care about that.
Obviously, this is about the Indy 500 double. Coca-Cola 600 next year. Curious if they change the paint scheme at all. I kind of hope they don't.
I hope they don't.
I really hope they don't. I don't think that would be good if they change the paint scheme, because I think that's something they need to keep the same just for the iconic, just to keep the branding. I just think that would be good. Yes, they probably want to sell more different merch next year, but like, dude, just keep it the same.
Yeah.
That 5 paint scheme just won the Brickyard 400. Keep it the same. Like,
I agree.
Please keep it the same. That's my only hope. Just keep it the same. That's what you need to do.
And Zach, that's exciting because we will be at that race again, the Indy 500, assuming that is what it is. I'd be shocked if it isn't that. But so I have a prediction about this tomorrow. Okay.
Oh.
What if they're going to run the Brickyard scheme at the Roval in a few weeks? Because he never got to run it at Charlotte either. Thoughts?
No, that's
No?
not. That's not.
It's not the same. It's
No.
not the oval.
That's not.
I think it'd be cute.
That's like the reverse argument of me calling the Brickyard 400 a crown jewel. Like, that's not. No.
No,
It's not giving. That's so stupid that you said that. I'm not gonna lie.
I think
that might have been the worst thing you've ever said. I don't think they're gonna do that. No, not during the playoffs. Not during all of this championship talk. No, just the window net's gonna be pink, Alex. The window net's probably gonna be pink for breast cancer awareness. No,
you don't like pink and papaya?
Pink and papaya, and then the yellow playoff banner. That car's gonna look so ugly.
Oh, you're right. Wait, don't do it. Don't do it.
Hopefully, he'll still have the playoff banner. Let me not. Yeah, let me give that back to the racing gods. Let's make sure. God.
But yeah, TLDR. That's exciting. I'm glad he's doing it again. It seems like.
Yeah.
Next up here, staying on the IndyCar side of things. Funny tweets today. Scott McLaughlin invited Alex Palou over for some homemade sushi. You know, that probably sounds normal, right? But Zach
and then Alex Palou is like, sure, send me a location. Like, so this is obviously a joke because apparently going into the IndyCar season finale at Nashville this weekend, McLaughlin needs Alex Palou to not start the race mathematically to be eligible to win the championship.
Yep.
Which, sure. So he's making this joke that, hey, I need to take Alex Palou out of this. Which I love that because, of course, Team Penske's trying to cheat. Of course, Team Penske's trying to cheat. Once again, why is Joseph Newgarden the villain when his teammate right next door is trying to poison his competitors? Joseph Newgarden would never do that. That's crazy. Now, what's not really going to work out is Alex Palou could certainly take the Tyler Reddick route to winning this championship.
Yeah, all he's got to do is start the race to block McLaughlin at least.
Yeah, and then he can poop his driver suit all he wants, like, and he'll be fine from whatever kind of sushi Scott McLaughlin made. So,
I thought this was funny, and Zach, you have a point in here. You couldn't tell if Palou could tell that it was a joke or not, and I find that very funny. Because
I literally, I think Palou saying "send me a location" is legit. Like, okay, that sounds fun.
I'll come over. That sounds fun.
But then he replies later saying, after further review, aka him getting the social cues, I cannot accept this request.
I thought it was a cute exchange. It was a really cute exchange.
I think he thought it was serious at first. I literally do.
Really?
I really do. I don't know.
That'd be funny. Imagine if you actually did that. He's like, okay, text him over. Okay, when do you want me to come over? Scott's like, wait, I have a chance. It's cute. But for the championship for IndyCar, the season finale is this weekend in Nashville Superspeedway. McLaughlin, of course, as we said, Palou would have to not start the race, have any shot mathematically. Palou has to finish 9th or better no matter what. If Power wins, Palou has to finish 9th or better to win the championship. But if Power finishes 2nd, all he has to do is finish 18th.
So if Palou DNFs, Power has a really good shot. But it sounds like Power's going to have to go out there and win this race, which...
Yeah.
The good news is Penske's really fast at the ovals, and I assume his teammates are going to be staying out of the way. Wow. It's the championship. They have to. There's no way you're going to keep Will Power from winning that race if it's going to help him win the championship. Maybe what?
Newgarden and McLaughlin are better on ovals right now than Power. So my thing is, can Power even keep up with them?
I don't think it's going to matter, Alex. They're going to, does IndyCar have a rule against team orders?
I don't think so. Do they have papaya rules like McLaren and F1?
I don't. If Palou is running 10th or something,
yeah,
I
see what you're saying. They're
gonna have a bad pit stop. They're gonna do something
to make it look non-intentional. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, the two teams had a lot of those this year, except for at Indianapolis. We had a really perfect stops there.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. This should be interesting. I just love how this is on an oval. Anything could happen. I mean, Palou is going to have to. Man, he'll probably. Well, Palou's never been in this situation on an oval, like where he's got. I mean,
it's a new oval
used to
for
it the
him
last
too.
few weeks, at least. Like he's been racing all these ovals, trying to protect his championship. But I don't know, man. This is going to be the most pressure Alex Palou has been under in his entire career. I think to keep it straight, keep it clean. So that's going to be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, I'm glad it's at I'm glad it's at Nashville. I am excited for this. I do think it's going to be pretty exciting.
I hope so.
Scott McLaughlin said on a podcast recently that they did a lot of testing at Milwaukee and they did a lot of testing at Nashville. And he said the better racing they had at Milwaukee, he thinks translated, because it was really bad at first, he said. And then the drivers gave feedback to IndyCar and made improvements. They did the same at Nashville. So hopefully it's a pretty solid race. I'm looking forward to it.
Does Scott McLaughlin win at Milwaukee, the race 2? I forgot who won race 2.
Yeah, he won race 2.
That's really bad that I completely forgot.
Well, too bad you can't forget about this, because IndyCar CEO Mark Miles is back in the news 2 weeks in a row because he just can't help himself. He said, this is the biggest quote in my opinion. He said, quote, "Recently someone said, they want us back at Watkins Glen. No effing way. We've got to quit being what we've been." End quote. And my first thought
is... good racing series? Is that what he means? We got to quit being a good racing series. That's how I take it.
Zach, they were just at Milwaukee.
The oldest oval in America. Kind of, not really, but like it's still like one of the oldest ovals.
Why are you saying that? What?
I think it is one of the oldest ovals in America.
I don't know if it is or not. I'm like, fact check. But also they're returning to Nashville.
Yep, it's the Milwaukee Mile. It is.
Is it? Okay.
Yep, oldest oval. From the 1800s.
I would have thought it was. I genuinely thought
it was a horse track in 1876.
Okay.
That's why it's so historic, and so IndyCar raced there for a long time. So,
but Mark Miles says, "I hate Milwaukee. I hate Nashville," even though we just went back there. You know, what's his end goal here? Because he has said for years that we need to go to an international race. He said it since 2014, 10 years ago now. It still hasn't happened. I don't understand this man. I don't. Like, he's just like another ordinary man. I don't understand him. But, you know, this is
does he watch racing? Does he watch his own series? I think that's the problem. He doesn't watch his own series.
I guess not. I mean, so look, I understand Watkins Glen that had poor attendance when IndyCar raced there most recently. But I would still, like, if you actually marketed and promoted it and tried getting fans to show up.
That's the thing with a lot of these tracks.
I think it'd be a really fun event. Like, I love Watkins Glen. That'd be great for IndyCar. But
I think that's a problem with a lot of these tracks. Like, oh, no one ever shows up to these tracks. No one's showing up to your tracks in California, the Northeast, the Southeast, the Middle East, the Midwest, rather. God. I mean, hey, if they ran a race in the Middle East, I don't think anyone's showing up anyways. But it's like all over the country. Oh, no one showed up to that race, so we stopped having it. I wonder why. All over the country? Huh. I think that's an IndyCar issue. Not really. And they said they're not going to go back to Richmond. Oh, y'all were ready to go back to Richmond in 2020. Y'all were ready. Like, what is he talking about? He's just saying stuff to say stuff. He's like me. He's just saying stuff to hear himself speak.
He's like you.
We should have him on the Gay Racing Podcast.
Man, I would not be nice if we ever had him on. I'd have a lot to say. But IndyCar CEO, we'll see what he says next week. And Zach, speak of Watkins Glen, NASCAR's going to Watkins Glen, and we're heading into fantasy now. You and I got a 1-2 finish. You had Logano, so you got the win. 1-3. I had Ryan Blaney.
Blaney finished third.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because it ended under caution, so they had to. Yeah, I love how I called Logano winning. That was so cool.
Yeah, I did forget that they updated the results because the caution came up before the caution. My apologies. Anyway, first and third picks for us in fantasy.
Yeah. What a intense finish for us. Just having our two fantasy drivers work together.
Dude, it was so intense. I was
And
having a lot of fun.
I think we talked about it a little bit in text, but like if Blaney was clear of the 99, he probably tries to make a move. But on a green white checkered though, he didn't really have time to make a run like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but oh well. I feel good about that. That was one of my favorite fantasy wins I've gotten, honestly. Calling
it was a big one for you. Yeah.
It's always fun to call a super speedway win. I've done that a lot, and it's all been Team Penske. Brad at Talladega, I've called Blaney at Talladega, now I've called Logano Atlanta. Like, Team Penske never fails me.
So, a couple things before we make our picks here. It's been reported that the tire being used for Watkins Glen wears really quickly, so hopefully it's a better show than last year's race.
Yeah.
Last year, I don't think you and I hated last year, but it wasn't like super thrilling or anything.
Right.
And then Juan Pablo Montoya is making a NASCAR return this week, and he'll be in the 50 car for 2311.
I wonder if he's going to be competitive.
I don't know. Are you going to pick him?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, let's find out. All right. Okay. I have my pick for
as well.
Watkins Glen, if you're ready.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. I'm trying to pick Kyle Larson, and Alex is also trying to pick Kyle Larson. That's a nice pick of him. I like the picture you used. I like the white suit.
Yeah, nice. I like the white suit. It's nice.
I like him. Okay.
I wish they would do that to the car when he wore that. But
I disagree. I actually kind of get why they don't. I kind of like the blue car more.
Fair enough.
It'd be cool for them to do it like once at like the All-Star race, but I wouldn't want them to. I don't know.
All right. I got a pick.
I also have a pick.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1. I'm trying to pick Tyler Reddick, and Alex is trying to pick Christopher Bell. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go with Bell next. That's good. Okay.
And I was going to go with Reddick next.
Wow.
Cool.
Doesn't Reddick look hot in that picture?
He does.
So cute.
He's really like grown on me. Yeah.
He's had a glow up. Like he went from looking like a high school freshman when he entered the sport, and now he looks like a movie star. Like
I like him.
Cute. Meanwhile,
I will say,
Bell just still kind of looks like a little baby. He's still cute. He's cute.
I was gonna say if we had matched on Bell Reddick, my next pick was going to be Alex Bowman because he has the most points on road courses.
He was in my top 5, but you know who I would have put? I had Ty Gibbs before Bowman.
Oh,
because you know me and Ty Gibbs. Me and Ty Gibbs are like that on road courses. Hey, honestly though, watch Ty Gibbs this weekend. I kind of part of me wishes I picked him because I think he's going to be really fast. But the 54 team, I think another thing, the 54 team going into Watkins Glen closer to the cut line, they're going to be probably forfeiting. They're going to be going for stage points. They're going to be forfeiting track position. So while I think Reddick and Bell and Larson, because they got a pretty decent gap to the cut line, I think they can kind of fight for the race win. So that's something you kind of have to consider. But we could also easily see all of these playoff guys, except Logano, I guess, go for points. And then a Shane Van Gisbergen or Juan Pablo Montoya wins Watkins Glen. That would be really cool. Man, imagine SVG versus Montoya. Ooh. Versus Allmendinger. I don't even know if Allmendinger's in the race. I don't think he is.
See, I don't think Montoya is going to be much of a factor, but if he was, I'd be so excited. So
it'd be really cool.
Do like Montoya.
But yeah, the car is just, I don't even know if he's tested the car. Like these cars are so different.
Yeah.
So, and everyone's gotten so much better at road courses too. It's been 10 years since Montoya's done a NASCAR race?
I think it was 10 years, Michigan.
Yeah,
in
2014.
the 400. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's cool. We got to make picks for IndyCar.
Yes. IndyCar finale. You have already clinched up the championship for that. Again, congratulations. Yep. But I can make it a 1-point difference here.
Yeah, make it look like it was close.
It's closer than that year you lost.
I mean, it was close, to be fair. It was really close. So
yeah, it was. Yeah.
I'm very glad I got that win. I had my pick ready.
Me too.
All right. 3, 2, 1. I'm trying to pick Will Power, and Alex is going to pick Joseph Newgarden.
That's my. So it's Joseph at that press conference. He just looks really mad.
Yeah, I'm just going in on Power because, like, is that the press conference where he was crying?
I think so.
Well, he doesn't. Oh my god.
But
I get what you're saying about like Newgarden and McLaughlin having the edge on him at ovals. I just think there might be some games played this weekend in terms of who's going to finish first.
Yeah, so I could see it.
So, and it doesn't really matter to me either way. So I'm just like, let me call my shot.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be either one of the three Penskes. Yep. Palou could end up getting his first oval win, maybe a Scott Dixon win. I think it's gonna be a pretty straightforward race, but I could be wrong.
Like, yes, we haven't been to this track in a while, but like Milwaukee and Gateway are, they're flatter ovals, kind of like Nashville. So it's not really I don't think it's gonna be too much different than what we've been used to. So
yeah, I agree.
Hopefully it'll be probably a good race though, because I'm assuming they can use most of the racetrack, unlike Iowa. So
yeah,
that should be fine. But yeah, I'm glad we're ending on an oval this season. So
me too. I'm glad we're ending on oval again. It's been around 10 years, I think. So moving on now to the conclusion of this episode. Thank you guys for listening or watching. We have a kind comment, Zach, and this is from Colts Fanatic on YouTube. They said, "Forget Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi. Y'all are my gay dads now." I love this comment.
That's actually a really nice thing to say.
It is.
That's one of my favorite comments ever left. But it's also, I almost want to take it as an insult because sometimes Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi, they're just saying stuff.
I don't think they get along right now. Like, you and I get along. Like, we play.
Dads are fighting. Our dads are fighting.
Yeah.
Dads, please stop fighting. Can y'all just make up? I just want to have a nice family dinner. Yeah. I love the way they end an argument because, like, they just get so, like, resigned. They're just like, okay. I'm like, okay, moving on.
It's like, okay.
Whatever.
Yep.
We don't do that.
Gosh.
We just keep arguing.
Yep. Pretty much. So, yeah, thank you, Colts Fanatic, for that comment. It made me laugh. You guys can leave 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. You can also leave written reviews on Apple. 5-star review on air. We'll read it. Like and subscribe on YouTube. We're just around 50 subscribers from 400 on YouTube, and we're around 40 from 500 on TikTok. So we are going up.
Growing. Oh my God.
Growing.
Look at us.
Yeah. Thank you guys for the support. You can support us on Patreon as well. Patreon.com/GayRacingPod. Thank you as always to those of you who do. And you can follow us on socials at GayRacingPod, at DreamyZachRacing, and at NewGaden.
Is our guest episode being recorded this week?
It could be this week or next week. Still trying to finalize that.
Okay. Yeah, we got some plans for y'all. It's going to be a really fun episode. I'm excited for it. We have a big guest coming on. So y'all will have to wait to find out who it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. So we will see you guys next time to talk about IndyCar's finale at Nashville. That's Sunday, right? Or is it Saturday night?
Pretty sure it's Sunday.
Hopefully it doesn't conflict with NASCAR. Oh, God, I bet it does. Anyways.
It probably does.
Oh, my God. Of course they would do that. Because I feel like Watkins Glen always starts kind of early. Anyways. IndyCar at Nashville, NASCAR at Watkins Glen. Hopefully there's some pretty good races. I'm excited to see some road course racing. So, yeah. Well, we'll see you guys next time to talk about that. Bye-bye. Stay safe. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.